I want to ask you about January 6, 2021. After you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that.
I do. In fact, it's the only reason that I watched the debate, to hear your answer on this subject, because it does have to be answered for. Let's make no bones about it. The peaceful transition of power is on the ballot. It shouldn't be, but it is, because of this man. Let's see what else he had to say on the subject.
Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable?
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable.
Good. Very good. Violence is not okay. Even if you lied, you said it. And those that support you and participated in the violence and would participate in more violence heard you denounce that. That is a good, responsible, human step. We haven't even gotten to presidential yet. It's a good human step. And you, sir, get a gold star. I'm so excited. What else did you say about the first part of that question? Let's take a look.
And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that.
I don't care how big it was. I care what you did with it. A lot of life lessons in there. Let's move on.
They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol. If the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody, and I'll tell you something, I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again.
So the question was, are you going to accept the results of the 2024 election, whether or not they favor you? And he said, I'm going to make America great again. What he's doing is running the clock down. He started to say if it's fair, if it's legal, but he decided that he didn't want to commit to that yet, and so switched gears to a dog whistle, switched gears to like when people say things like synergy. That's what MAGA means to him. That's what Make America Great means to him. It's just something he says to throw out to people to make them happy and cheer. And then he doesn't have to answer the question again, because Make America Great Again means something different to every person. So whatever good feelings that brings up in you, he's just basing it on. He's just slathering it on and hoping that you will answer the question that you asked based on him saying Make America Great Again.
The question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might.
So again, the question that he had to be redirected to answer was, will you accept the results of the 2024 elections, whether they benefit you or whether they don't? And he decided, as a summary, to talk about the conflict between Kyiv and Russia and our involvement in it. He is trying so hard not to answer this question outright. We have to ask ourselves why. Let's see if we get it a third time.
President Trump, the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely.
There we go. Third time's the charm. And his answer was essentially yes, if I like them. Fair, legal, good. Fair and good are subjective. Legal is an avenue that he tried to take last time and was told no, and so he incited insurrection. Now, let's take a look at how he followed this statement.
I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely. There's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Well, let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
Well said, Mr. President. This is not my normal content. Any of my subscribers watching this are probably asking what in the heck happened. The game that I make content over is The Sims 4. And we have a lot of fun over on the channel, but this is too important. I am not going to sail past this as if it doesn't matter and that it'll all be okay. But any other issue on the ballot is second to whether we can have a peaceful transition of power. What that monster did to my countrymen and incited in my countrymen, in my country, can never happen again. Without question, everybody should vote along with their own convictions. I believe it's inappropriate of me to tell you how to vote. I believe it is exactly appropriate of me to tell you what concerns me and to invite you to share concerns as well. Love y'all. Stay safe.